thank the government whip for the speech. Now I'd like to invite the opposition whip.
Since it's grand finals, I wanted to say something special and entertaining, but since I'm not as eloquent as other speakers in this debate, I would rather like to focus on the logical fabric of today's debate. I think our lovely Kang Gi-jung will cover the entertaining part in his reply. So without further ado, I would directly like to move on to the burden of proof that the both sides had in this debate to recap the fundamental building bricks of both sides' argument and also the essential reason why this debate was happening from the first place. Firstly, from the government side, Prime Minister spent a whole lot of time on elaborating why addictions occur and why we have to lessen addicts, but this didn't really help their case because we totally concede to this point of seriousness. Rather, they have to prove why specifically stamina system will be needed to fulfill the purpose. Also, they have to prove that the benefits of their policy will actually outweigh the harms, and only benefit that was posed from the government side was there will be less addiction, but we believe that this benefit is either non-existent or the benefits will not outweigh the harms. So on the other hand, the opposition also recognizes the seriousness of today's problem. But we have a different approach to the problem. We have proven to you, Mr. and Madam Speakers, ladies and gentlemen, that the harms from government's policy will not be ignorable. We can gain more positive effects with our policy without the harms of their model. No, thank you. Thus, we have more than fulfilled our burden of proof. We automatically win this debate, but I would like to further analyze this matter with the clashes I found in this debate, which are three. First clash was about effectiveness. Which model will serve better the purpose of lessening or curing addiction? Second clash I found was freedom of choice versus the need to regulate, justification issues. Third of all, the third clash would be the impact on society, whether the aftermath will be continuable and justifiable, or will it be detrimental. So let me move on to the first clash, which is effectiveness. Yes?
Before you going on, please talk about how your status quo plan is effective, where we see that current problems exist in the status quo on your model.
Their model already exists in the status quo in games such as Babinogi, which has imposed a 2-hour quota, but actually Babinogi has withdrawn its policy because it actually didn't work, and we believe we're going to strengthen the model so it's actually going to work. We say we can always circumvent the control that the government is proposing today by creating multiple IDs and characters. And heavy users who are already seriously addicted to the game are very likely to use these illegal measures even if they have to start over, because they will be able to transfer the items they have earned to the main ID afterwards. And we didn't really hear an answer from about this problem from the government side. And also they had talked about reality confusion. But we believe that this problem is not going to be solved by their model. People who are addicted show a symptom of getting obsessed with games even when you are not playing games. So making them not play games doesn't necessarily make them go out and have an actual life. Also, they said playing series of different games is irrelevant, but isn't this a likely result of their policy? So they haven't really proven how they're going to decrease confusion, but we're going to focus on reality and approach the real people rather than regulating simple avatars. No, thank you. Also, they have talked about prevention, but we say preemptive measures are not necessary in this case. We can't necessarily regulate something that is not inherently wrong. It's not really comparable to things like suicide because these things are 100% inherently dangerous, but we believe games are not so. Moving on to the second clash, which is freedom of choice versus the need to regulate. We believe that this will pose a discrimination only against the online gaming users. They have flimsy justification. Could the government possibly tell us why no liberal democratic government is currently controlling excess use of alcohol? They didn't really know why, but we do. It's because the level of infringement will be too huge. Also, we said that freedom cannot be regulated unless the act did not pose grave danger to the others. They have talked about the example of killing a baby or things like that, but we believe these are extreme cases. We believe that more murders occur by the effect of alcohol than mere gangs, but even if we concede to the fact, concede to their point, government is trying to overgeneralize the population and impose a blanket policy, while the problem can be solved by specifically targeting the people who have serious addiction with our policy. And they also said that we had a contradiction, but we do not believe so. They said that freedom of choice was so important, we shouldn't impose our policy as well. But we say this is a matter of level. Their policy covers the whole group who plays online games or an alternate society, but we're focusing on people who have serious problems, so giving up some part of freedom would be rather acceptable in our model. Also, our policy works on a request basis, which would be the only way to do this. Request from the person himself or a request from the family. Thus, infringement of freedom can be minimized. Moving on to the last clash, which is the impact on society. We haven't really heard an answer of this clash from the government side. We believe that the industry will suffer from the decrease of profit, and this will also impact the international industry. Also, we believe that this policy will go against the current trend of decreasing the black market. We believe that it will have an adverse effect of regulating economic shadows of game industry. DPM has also mentioned about cash trading, which sounded like castrating, but which was not. They asked how our model was going to solve this problem, but we don't really need to, we don't really have the obligation to solve the problem of black market. Their model is going to increase the black market, whereas we're not really going to increase the black market. So on this point, we believe that we have an upper hand. So on these three clashes, first of all, effectiveness. Our model is definitely more effective. Second of all, freedom of choice versus the need to regulate. We believe their model is not justified. Lastly, the impact on society. We have heard no answer from the government side on this clash. So we have an upper hand on all the three clashes. So we are proud to oppose.